Greetings, friends. My name is Peter, and this is Retro Unscripted. As always, I thank each and every one of you for taking the time to watch my videos or subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's been a great journey over the past 3.5 months, and I really appreciate the support. As you can see, probably, that's my birthday boy ribbon. Today is my 42nd birthday. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my mom. My mom was a single mom. She raised 3 kids, myself, my younger sister, and my younger brother. We were a family that really didn't do great, but we got by. We moved around a lot, just as circumstances warranted. But my mom always found a way to keep a roof over our heads and our houses heated and ways for us to be able to eat and get to school and stuff like that. Video games weren't really a big thing with my mom, however. I can remember when we were living at her mom's house for a little bit and we had some time with the Atari 2600. She was very careful to try and monitor the amount of time that I was on the 2600. Always tried to convince me to go and spend time outside, and try and be more active. And as time went on, and my paternal grandmother got me the Commodore computers for my 12th birthday, and then when I graduated from middle school, getting into high school, she tried to be careful with the amount of time that I spent playing video games there too. She wasn't necessarily against it. She didn't come right out and ban video games and say, no, you can't do that. But she was more a proponent of experiencing life for all that it entailed. So I kind of understood that. I knew that when I put down video games or video game related items on birthday lists and Christmas lists that I really wasn't going to get those from my mom, and we had an understanding that was okay. I understood. After all, my mom was trying to provide for 3 kids, so things like an Atari 2600 or a Nintendo Entertainment System really weren't in her, her buffer zone or in her income to be able to afford. So I kind of understood that, which is why, especially as a high school kid, I didn't spend a lot of time at home. Spent a lot of time at the local convenience store playing arcade games or at friends' houses who had a Nintendo or something similar. And that's just kind of how I got by. Video games were always my escape, and my mom knew and understood that. Things changed, however, in 2012. 2012 was my 40th birthday, April 22nd, that's today. And for my birthday that year, one of my friends online had been gracious enough to buy me a Nintendo Entertainment System. That's what I'm using to air Mike Tyson's Punch-Out that you see behind me. I told her about it. I was ecstatic, and she asked me for my birthday where I wanted to go, and I asked her if we could go to this flea market that's out near her house so I could go looking around just to see what games there were, kind of like I had seen on Pat the NES Punk's Flea Market Madness series, and later on what I would eventually see with the Game Chasers series and with Lazy Game Reviews Thrifts series. Just looking around at flea markets and seeing what games there were, seeing the games that I would kind of put on a list, and when I had the money I would go back and get. So we went to the flea market and we looked around, and I looked around at all of the Nintendo stuff for a long time, and my mom said to me, which caught me by surprise, so what did you pick? And I picked out 5 or 6 games, and she bought them for me. It was a complete change of direction from I remember what things were like when I was growing up. My mom had never really been into or interested in buying me video games before. Back then, of course, money was tighter, but now I didn't think that would happen, and it meant a lot. And I explained to my mom what my reasoning was. I was going back to collecting video games and systems from the past because they do mark certain specific events and signposts in my life that I wanted to relive. And my mom loved the idea. These weren't going to be things that I would turn around and trade in after beating them in a week. These are games that I've been gradually building in a collection or library for the last several years, starting with purchasing older PlayStation 2 games when I was living in Arizona, in 2011. So it was really neat for my mom to be able to change course and support my habit, support my hobby, really. Not that my mom hasn't been supportive in the past. When I first had a chance to go to E3 in 2011 and I told her about the Kmart Gamer trip, she was ecstatic. She was very excited for me. And that continued when I went to E3 the next couple of years. She actually helped me as far as a little bit of extra money for the trip and some advice on how to handle myself on a trip, because I really hadn't been to California or anywhere outside of New England on my own before. So it was definitely her being supportive in that aspect. And then, of course, during my writing career, I would pass along things that I had written, and she would take the time to read them and be very complimentary. But this was really the first time that she had actually taken time and money to put towards video games, and that was a big deal for me. Now, this year, we didn't go to the flea market. This year, she bought me a brand new PlayStation 2 DualShock 2 controller, which I really, really needed. If you remember from the past videos, I had been practically begging for one because they don't sell them locally. And my mom did come through on that. And we did have a very nice dinner. You probably saw the picture I took of, or the picture we had taken of her and myself at Applebee's on the Friday before my birthday, which was, I think, the 19th. And that was really cool to see. So this is to my mom. I dedicate my 42nd birthday to her and for all of the support that she gave to me as I was growing up, looking out for me and making sure I wasn't just a video game junkie, but I was a bit more well-rounded as a kid, and then being so supportive through my adult life. And now, as I'm in this new journey, this retro journey in my lifetime, being so supportive and actually helping out and helping me build my collection, I'm extremely appreciative. I hope you guys enjoyed this rather short episode of Retro Unscripted. My name is Peter. As always, I thank you all for watching. We'll be back to less personal topics next time. Until then, I will see you on the next episode of Retro Unscripted. Take care.